Hey, if you live in Knoxville or anywhere across Knox County, you've probably noticed two things lately. The rent or house prices are higher than ever, and traffic on Kingston Pike, Pellissippi Parkway, Broadway, Fountain City feels like a parking lot. Knox County is growing at a historic pace. But behind the scenes, local officials are rolling out a brand new proposal that will fundamentally change how and where everything gets built for decades to come. It's called the Unified Development Ordinance, or the UDO. Now, I know Unified Development Ordinance sounds like a very dry municipal code, doesn't sound very exciting. But if you own a home, rent an apartment, drive on local roads, or just care about East Tennessee's green spaces, pasture land, this single proposal directly impacts your wallet in your neighborhood and how you enjoy East Tennessee's beauty. I'm Mike Durham, realtor, broker, and owner of Keyo Homes right here in Knoxville. I live in Knoxville, and I share Knoxville and real estate related news like this every single week. So give me a follow if you want to stay in the loop. In this video, we're breaking down what the UDO actually is, why Knox County is doing it right now, what changes are being proposed, and the huge debate happening between developers, conservationists, and homeowners. So let's dive in. So to understand the UDO, you first have to understand how Knox County was built. For decades, land regulations were split across a patchwork of separate documents. Zoning codes over here, subdivision regulations over there, plus separate rules for stormwater management, landscaping, and street design. So all these separate documents and all these separate rules created endless loopholes, conflicting rules, and confusing administrative delays. Developers didn't know what they could build, and residents often felt blindsided when a quiet lot next door was rezoned out of nowhere. Enter the UDO. A Unified Development Ordinance takes all those separate rule books and combines them into one single modern master plan. It's the enforcement tool for the Advance Knox comprehensive plan that county leaders approved to manage growth. Think of Advance Knox as the vision map and the UDO as the legal machinery that makes that vision a reality. So what's actually changing on the ground? There's three big shifts you need to know about. So first, corridor density and housing diversity. Under the old system, single-family homes on massive lots were often the only thing easily allowed in much of the county. The new UDO proposal encourages more missing middle housing, think townhomes, duplexes, triplexes, and walkable mixed-use developments like Belltown, particularly along major travel corridors. The goal is to concentrate density near major roads rather than sprawling deep into rural farm country. Second, form-based code. Instead of just regulating what goes inside a building, form-based zoning focuses heavily on what the building looks like and how it meets the street. It sets clear standards for building height, setbacks, lighting, and transitions when a commercial site sits right next to a quiet residential neighborhood. Third, process streamlining. Right now, getting a project approved can take months or years of political back and forth and spot rezoning requests. The proposed UDO aims to make rules crystal clear up front. If a developer follows the exact preset code, the approval process becomes far more faster and predictable. Hey, and if you own properties off major corridors like Kingston Pike, Hardin Valley, or Chapman Highway, or anywhere in Knoxville, drop your neighborhood below. I'll reply and tell you whether your area is slated for zoning density changes under the new UDO map. And you can always call or text me at the number on the screen to get more info on this. Now, as you can imagine, anytime you rewrite the land use rules for an entire county, everyone has an opinion. It's not going to apply evenly to everyone. And there's two main sides emerging in this debate. On one side, groups like developers and local home builders generally support modernization. They argue that Knox County is facing a severe housing shortage, and to keep homes affordable for local families and young workers, we need to make it easier to build diverse housing types without being buried in red tape and arbitrary lot size restrictions. On the other side, community advocacy groups like the Knox Community Planning Alliance, local neighborhood groups, and a lot of homeowners that live in more rural areas are urging caution, and rightly so. Their concerns center around two things: preservation and infrastructure. They want strict protections for East Tennessee's ridges, streams, and historic farmland. Plus, they also worry that if higher density housing goes up before roads, schools, and stormwater drainage are upgraded, existing taxpayers will end up paying the price, which is probably true. So let's bring this down to a personal level. What does a new UDO actually mean for you as a Knox County resident? If you're a homeowner, the UDO could help protect your property value by preventing random incompatible developments next door through better design standards. But depending on where your property sits, along main corridors especially, it might also mean seeing more townhomes or small commercial shops popping up closer to your neighborhood. If you're a buyer or renter, More flexible zoning could increase the total supply of housing, helping slow down the dramatic rent and price spikes Knox County has seen over the last few years. If you drive, the UDO attempts to channel new growth along major transit routes where infrastructure can handle it, rather than overflowing two-lane county roads that weren't built for heavy traffic. So here's the most important part. The proposal isn't set in stone yet. There's a lot of things we can do as a public to put our input in and make our voice and opinions heard. Knox County Commission and the Planning Commission are actively reviewing modules of the draft ordinance and holding public open houses, virtual town halls, and feedback sessions. Whether you want to protect local green space, advocate for more affordable housing, or ensure your neighborhood roads and schools aren't getting overwhelmed, now is the time to speak up and let your public comments be heard. You can submit comments online or attend public meetings directly through the Advance Knox website. You can also go to the Knox County Planning website as well. So Knox County is at a massive turning point. How we write this UDO today will determine what Knoxville looks like in 2035 and beyond. If you're planning a move in East Tennessee or wondering how these zoning updates affect your home's value before you sell, text or call me directly at 865-548-7676 and let's talk. I also want to hear from you down in the comments. Do you think higher density housing along major corridors is the right solution for Knox County's growth? Or like me, are you concerned about losing our pasture land, our rural charm, and open space? Let's start a conversation below. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more local Knoxville real estate and news updates, and I'll see you in the next video.